Okay, guys, this is going to be a controversial one because it's about relicing and aging and the pros and cons of relicing and aging.
Yeah.
Do you hate it or do you love it?
There are heated debates online.
I know. This is going to be another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything started out, it's a nice anecdote, with Vince Cunetto, American luthier. So he made Fenders.
Yeah.
And then went to Fender showing these relics. I think it was 1995 or 1996. And Fender thought, oh god, this is an opportunity because everybody wants vintage looking guitars.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously there are not a lot of, well, there were more out there then than now. But anyway, there weren't enough to go around.
Yeah.
So they introduced them at the 1996, if I'm correct, NAMM show. And I visited NAMM shows since 1994, I think. And then I went around to the shops always, trying to buy as many guitars, used guitars as I could. And then I entered one of these very small shops and I saw this old Fender on the wall. And I said, how much is the old Fender? And the guy said, no, it's a new. And I thought, Fender has definitely lost their minds.
Yeah.
Because at that time, nobody actually thought about these things, you know. So I thought, okay, this is going to be a fad and it's going to go away. But obviously, it's bigger than ever.
Yeah.
So
was it an instant hit, or did people have to get
well, the
accustomed
Vince
to it?
Cunetto guitars were an instant hit because, So they were like 3,000 euros, and that was obviously 30 years ago a lot of money also. But we sold them steadily. And then obviously when they weren't made anymore, because Fender took over the production, then the Vince Cunetto guitars got sort of a mythical status and everybody still wanted them. And now you can't find them anymore because they're simply all in collections.
Yeah.
And they were very good. Not because they weren't real Fenders, let's say, because he made the parts, he made everything and then sent them to Fender and they sort of assembled them.
Yeah.
But really because they were made with care. I mean, it's very contradictory because they're fucked up, let's say. I mean, you see a good example right here. Yeah. But somehow they sound amazing because the lacquer is thinner to be able to actually relic them.
I know a lot of people think this is bullshit, but I really think if there is less lacquer, the guitar can breathe more.
It's not bullshit. It's a fact. It's a fact.
And they just resonate better, even if the finish is like cracked.
It can also be a little bit psychological because this is then, let's say, a normal NOS, new old stock Fender custom shop. Well, in this case, Esquire, but it's a double Esquire, so it's actually a tele. But there are different gradations or stages of Relic. So this is totally shiny and new. Of course, it's not polyurethane. It's cellulose. So it's a little bit less shiny than, let's say, a poly guitar.
Then it goes into Journeyman Relic.
Yeah.
Fender has this like really clear stages of aging. So that's why we picked these Fender guitars to show you. This is the Journeyman Relic, the first step in aging, and it just has finish cracking and a few minor dings, as you can see here on the back. But there are no large patches of lacquer missing. It's just like a broken-in guitar.
Yeah, and that's, I think, one of the most popular stages of relicing.
Yeah.
Because at that time, Gibson didn't do anything with relicing or what they call aging. So it was just Fender doing that. And I have one example of not really authentic looking relicing. Not sure what the fuck this is.
This is the Mike McCready standard production. So they had the custom shop model, which was built by Vince van Tricht, I think.
Yeah.
And very limited, like 25,000 euros, and this everybody can buy. But it doesn't look very authentic.
No, but I mean, from a distance, it obviously does, and that's the whole point. But the difference is that these are made with stencils, so they sort of put stickers on this shape, and then they spray the guitar, and then when it's ready, they pull off the stickers. So you can actually see it's not. So they're all the same because of the stickers. And I mean, for the money,
that's the only feasible way to do that in a
In a cheap
production line.
Yeah.
Where you want to keep the cost down, because believe it or not, aging or relicing a guitar is very labor intensive if you want to do it correctly.
Well, what a lot of people don't know is actually the lacquer, even if you don't relic a guitar, is the most expensive part on the guitar. Because it's labor intensive, and obviously you need a lot of skill to really do it well.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, everybody can paint with a brush, but I mean, if you really want to get a good finish, which is even, and of course you have to then sand it, and then again spray it, etc. And you go on and on until you are ready to buff it with a buffing compound, and then you make it shiny in different stages again. So that is all good and well, but this is just looks good from a distance. But still, it's 1,800 euros, so I'm not really sure if that is a good buy or not. But I mean, they're popular. So
then the standard aging.
Yeah, standard aging is just Relic.
Yeah.
So in this case, I would say it's almost heavy
same
Relic.
as the Journeyman, but you'll see like patches here where the lacquer has.
Journeyman is actually not damaged, just a few dots, and then you get normal heavy relicing.
And then we have the foobar.
Yeah. Well, this is called extra heavy relicing or extreme relicing, and we ordered actually quite a lot of these, and they're super popular.
They look amazing.
Depending on your taste.
Yeah, I love this. I love this so much.
Because what do you like? I mean, tell us in the comments, obviously, what you like or not like, because I get very extreme or extremely different reactions to guitars like this. I
mean, in the real world, I don't think there are a lot of 52 Telecasters that look like that.
Well, there might be, but not a lot, obviously, because there aren't a lot around. But it looks absolutely cool. I think if you look at, for instance, the Tele from Bruce Springsteen, it's going to look something like this, because he just uses it as a tool.
Yeah.
But I get just as many people saying, okay, I hate this, because if there's any damage on the guitar, I would like to make it myself.
Yeah.
So I would like to play it until it's Relic. To other people saying, oh, I absolutely love it. And
where do you lean?
Well, I think it's cool, but I don't own any. Personally, I don't own any Relic guitars. I do actually. A Tom Anderson, which is Relic, which is moderately Relic, which is I think, what is it? Ocean Turquoise over Sunburst, which looks pretty cool. But yeah, I owned some Gibsons that I sold that were heavy. One like this, for instance. This is what Gibson calls aging. This is what is it? Super heavy Relic, super heavy aging. You can see patches of lacquer missing. This is actually very nicely done. But the problem with Gibson was that when they introduced or reintroduced the Murphy aging, because Tom Murphy is the man who started that all. Yeah.
That evolved into Murphy Labs.
Yeah, because this is an early Murphy. This is very, very nicely done.
Yeah. And you can see the finish cracking. I don't know if this camera will pick it up, but
yeah, it's like very meticulously done by Tom Murphy himself. And obviously now there is the Murphy Lab, which has maybe like 6 people working there, and all using these X-Acto knives to
make the finish
cracks. But I mean, as a if you look at it as a, let's say, as an expertise, or then it's very nicely done. But when they introduced these guitars, that there were some guitars like 8, 9, 10,000 euros that actually had some lacquer problems, that just, whole patches coming off, and then Gibson refusing to do anything about it. But in the end, they did, because they had to. But these are amazing guitars, but mostly because the guitars they pick to do the aging are already great. Yeah. So
they have first pick, right? Is that correct? So
well, that's what I understood. Yeah.
They picked the best ones from and then they.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it developed, because there was a time, let's say 2 years ago, they were extremely popular. Yeah. And now the popularity is going down a little bit. I'm not sure why. Maybe also to do with the pricing, which has become, let's say, well, I wouldn't say insane, but really, really up there. Yeah. And there are also a lot out there already. So, aged guitars is nothing special anymore.
Yeah. Either you love it or you hate it. Here's another example of, I personally think this is not very nice. It looks great from afar, but this is printed.
Yeah,
right?
this is printed relicing.
Printed relicing on an acoustic Martin guitar. And then only the top is relic and the back is just brand new, so it doesn't feel like a very
Well, I would say
cohesive
this is a
design.
less successful
Yeah.
design. But there are some really nice relic one, but they are like 10.
Yeah, that's the extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there are some builders out there who age their guitars and really don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And they just use sandpaper. You can see sandpaper scratches where they wanted to remove the lacquer. That's not how a real guitar ages on its own.
But there are very few people who can actually do it very tastefully.
Yeah.
Like Vincent van Tricht, he's by coincidence he's a Dutch master builder who has now actually quit Fender because he wanted to take care of his parents, which is a very
honorable thing. Yeah.
Honorable. But yeah, relicing is very subjective to taste. I mean, what I can say is that most Fender relics, they actually sound better than the NOS ones, but I asked the guys about that and they said, well, the most interesting theory I heard about that is that they say, okay, obviously the lacquer is as thin as possible because otherwise you have to work harder
to remove it.
To remove it. But they also say the more you are busy with the guitar, the more you are, let's say, working on it. So the more attention it gets, the better the instrument gets.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a master builder who told me that. So you could say, okay, this is like spacey stuff, but that can be truth.
I think so, and I think there is some truth to that because it's wood, it's alive, and you can see that with new guitars, they can be a little stiff, especially acoustic guitars, and you have to play them so they open up. Like the wood doesn't even know it's a guitar yet.
Well,
get accustomed to being a guitar.
Yeah, well, we see that a lot, but I think it's also to do with how much, obviously, the wood selection.
Yeah,
that's where it starts. And obviously, if you are a small company, maybe you don't have access to the greatest woods, like for instance a PRS, Polysmith, or Fender Custom Shop or Gibson Custom Shop has. But a good example of good relicing, maybe we can get one of those, is the Novo Guitars that we just became a dealer of. We were a dealer 5 years ago, but then they decided to go direct.
Here's one.
Oh, sorry, I have to put this away carefully. This is also very tastefully done. They mostly use pine, so that's a very light wood. And it's easy to get, but still these guitars are very, very resonant. And of course the designs of Dennis Fenno, who is behind Novo. And he uses the best stuff, so the best hardware.
And this is very lightly aged.
It's very lightly aged, but still it has the feeling of a worn-in guitar when it's actually new. So you see there's some scratches here. And it's a very popular design.
If for a Relic guitar, I think that's like it's already been broken in just a little bit.
Yeah, it feels like that.
When you get a brand spanking new guitar with a beautiful finish, the first ding hurts so much.
Yeah, well,
if it already has.
Not for me. I mean, I've seen so many of these guitars, but the thing is, I think we're onto something when you say, okay, how much care, love, attention you put into making a guitar, and obviously the right materials. Because if you put a shitty tremolo on here, it's going to sound shitty. Yeah. Because the weakest link is always, defines the let's say the strength of the chain,
the bottleneck.
And this feels good in every sense, and it's again a different guitar than anything else. So Dennis Fenno is a genius when it comes to that.
And then we have a real vintage 60s ES 345.
345, yeah, because of the parallelograms, you can see that. But the interesting thing is that most vintage guitars like this one, they don't look at all like a heavy Relic.
Yeah, yeah.
Because these are obviously from the times that people wanted to take care of their instrument instead of fucking it up beyond recognition.
Yeah.
So most of
Which
these...
is basically like right thing to do.
Yeah, it is the right thing to do. I mean, depending on you know, if you look at bands like what is it, Blink 182, or you know, these like punky, more aggressive sounding bands, they tend to have less respect for their instruments.
They abuse their instruments more.
And that is also fine. I mean, it's if it gets you what you want, because that is ultimately what I think people need to do, is to express themselves whatever way necessary.
Yeah.
And so it's not about hating or loving Relic or hating or loving certain models. It's about what you can do with them, I think, in the end.
And what makes you happy.
Yeah, and this is a particularly nice guitar. It has a medium.
Those finish cracks are.
Yeah, they are
really insane.
Very nicely done.
Yeah, very nicely done. Yeah. Thank you, Tom Murphy.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but there's something about vintage. But obviously, it's not affordable for. I mean, this is 10K, so not a lot of people can or want to afford.
Yeah, but if you're gonna get a custom shop 335, it's like 8,000-9,000 euros. You can get a real vintage one for 10.
Yeah, that's
I think
but
my choice would be.
Yeah, if it would be, let's say, 335, like from the early 60s, it's going to be more.
Yeah.
Because this is, I think, 66 or 67. So they're still under 10K or around 10K. But if you want to go 335, early 60s, it's like 40, 50K. Or sometimes even more.
Yeah, if they're in perfect condition.
Yeah, and there's what's not to love about these guitars.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't want to knock cheap Relics, but I'd rather than not pay 1,800 euro for that Strat that we just saw, and just get one of your own and maybe do the relicing yourself, if that's your
just
thing.
by playing.
Yeah.
And abusing it.
But we want to hear what you think about relicing and aging.
Yeah, let us know down below in the comments.
Because, yeah, it's important to know.
But keep the discussion civil.
Like we always do.
Like we always do. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to the channel and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.